It's Friday. It's that time of week again where we welcome Alan Green on the Stockbox Research Talks. Hi, Alan.
Hi, Mark. It's good to be back.
Yes, good to talk to you again at the end of the week. How's your week been?
It's been hectic, not least because one of the companies I'm going to talk about this morning has just been churning out RNS after RNS, but great progress. But yes, it has been busy, I managed to get a few things done at home. I had one quietish day apart from an RNS from the aforementioned company, I'm looking forward to the weekend, and I think we've got a bank holiday weekend coming up in is it next week or the week after?
Of course, yes, we do. Yeah.
Oh, 3 days off. 3 days off. I can't wait.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Let's hope we have some decent weather. Make the most of the last of the summer. So the company in question is Power Metal Resources, I think. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, Power Metal Resources, Epic code, of course, POW, Prisoner of War, which I always found rather amusing. Mm-hmm. But my goodness me, what a year they've had so far! Yeah. What a few months they've had. The shares are trading at just over 0.2p in February and March, and here we are today. You know, they've bagged literally 1.3p. And of course, we're just off the year high of 1.35p. But I think you could describe the progress of the company as relentless and driven, of course, by the mercurial CEO, who is, of course, Paul Johnson, who's known amongst the investing cognoscenti, and there's a very good reason that the company has risen so rapidly. So I'm going to go through and just describe and cover each project. I'm not going to go into vast amounts of detail because I think anyone following this will know what the company's been doing. But they're just adding project after project to the assets owned by the company. So I said the company's, of course, Chief Executive Paul Johnson, well known, got a great reputation with retail investors. He communicates to the market very well, and that's one of the key things as CEO. Of course, we were talking last week about Panther Metals and Darren Hazelwood, and there's a guy that also knows how to communicate to the markets as well. Paul's in that category, and of course, the chairman is Andrew Bell, who's who also runs Red Rock Resources, there's a very strong board behind the company. Power Metal raised 1 million last month, of course, its mantra is to seek out quality projects in safe jurisdictions with well-defined objectives that are easy for investors to understand and communicate. So, I'm going to start off with the first project. Which is in Australia. And of course, we've discussed ECR Minerals before. Mm-hmm. ECR Minerals has projects in the Victoria region, which of course is currently somewhat on hold because of the COVID crisis. The movement down there is very difficult. So the investors expecting updates from companies in the region obviously are having to wait because of that. Nonetheless, Red Rock Australasia is a 49%. It's 49% owned by Power Metals and 51% owned by Red Rock Resources, consists of 11 license applications covering over 1,800 square kilometres in the Ballarat area. And of course, Ballarat is north of Melbourne, and it's in the what going to be described as gold-rich territory, where you have numerous gold mines, the Ballarat gold mine, the Fosterville gold mine, the Costerfield gold mine, and a raft of other activities around mining. But the primary focus there is on gold, because historically the region has been famous for prospecting going back to hundreds of years, where settlers literally used to come and sift through the gold in the streams and the rivers there. Nonetheless, the company has advanced the projects. There's a great map, actually. If you look at any of the output that we've distributed on behalf of Power Metal Resources concerning the Red Rock Australasia projects, there's a great map which actually shows the projects on a Google map in relation to projects from other mining companies operating in the area, including ECR and others. And it's a large license area. So the company announced a week ago that they'd further developed some of the data from the region, and looking at the findings, they had identified two further projects, what they refer to as Ballarat style gold targets, and that is in the blue chip target and the blue whale target, which historically has produced some 112,000 ounces of gold. So there's an awful lot of gold in the ground across the territories owned by the joint venture there, and there's going to be further work, and of course currently with the data they have and the information they're gathering on these targets, they are putting together a plan of action to go and drill, farm in, joint venture, however they progress these to bring them to fruition. But it's a very fertile area for gold, as we've already said. So I think we're going to see a lot of news coming out of the region from not only Power Metal Resources but also ECR Minerals.
Exactly. I'm still fascinated by what's going on in Australia. I mean, I don't think it's really been appreciated or picked up yet, and it's possibly the COVID situation. The companies perhaps just aren't able to get the news flow out that they'd like. But I mean, this morning on BBC News front page, you've got the Aussie Gold Hunters. It's a television program. I'm not familiar with it as such, but two huge gold nuggets found in the region. I think it's a really fascinating story to follow, and I just hopefully they can get out and start doing stuff and getting some communications and media, because I think it's a great story developing out there.
It is. It really is. As you said, there've been huge sort of nuggets pulled out of the region, and I think there was a nugget of where are we? I'm just looking back at some data, yes, there was a nugget pulled from the Blue Ribbon. That's right. Gold nuggets of up to 85 ounces have been identified within the historical records from the Blue Ribbon Project region. So that's just from the initial studies from the region. But it's hugely fertile, and I think there's we're position there for some very exciting news flow in the coming months, both from Power Metal and of course ECR Minerals and other operators in the region.
Indeed.
But the great thing about Power Resources is it has a raft of projects across different territories, and that's really why we've seen the spectacular rise in the share price. And I'm going to talk about Botswana now. There's the company has a project in Botswana, which is that owns just over 18% of the Kalahari Key Minerals Exploration company, which owns 100% the Malopo Farms Complex project, which is a nickel, copper, and PGM platinum group metals project. And again, this is being developed also in the region. The company Power Metal has a conditional agreement to acquire 51% of the Ditau Camp project in conjunction with from Kavango Resources for 150 million, and that's a rare earth project. Studies in the region, when I spoke about Kavango Resources, revealed neodymium, praseodymium, and other rare earths had being identified within the pegmatites across the region. The most recent news from there is that at the Malopo Farms project, an aeromagnetic survey and groundwork has identified 8 prospective targets for nickel and platinum gold metals, and there will be further news flow coming from that from that project very soon. But again, that's there's a major operation going on there, and again, it's a highly fertile region, as identified certainly by Kavango Resources with Ditau Camp and of course Kalahari Key Minerals. So we then come to Tanzania. And some news out this week from the company. Power Metal Resources has increased its interest in the Haneti nickel lithium PGM project. The company paid Katoro Gold a further £25,000, and on the back of that, it's increased its interest by 35%. So the Haneti project is now completely owned by Katoro Gold, which owns 65%, and Power Metal Resources now owns 35%. And of course, this is a project with huge potential for similar minerals to the Botswana project. So again, exciting developments there. There are drill-ready targets. The region is up to 80 kilometers in potential strike length, with polymetallic opportunities across a 5,000 square meter footprint. So it's a huge project, capable of delivering significant discoveries. So there is a lot of interest in that region, and certainly Katoro Gold has been holding conversations with various parties. A lot of interest. So with the deadline of August 31st, Power Metal, I think quite rightly, took the option to increase its stake and now holds 35%. So again, very exciting developments in Tanzania with Katoro Gold.
Okay.
So we then cross the Atlantic Ocean to the US continent, and again we have two major projects here that have been announced. The Alamo Gold Project. Power Metal announced recently the Alamo Gold Project, which is 100% owned by the Frisco Gold Corporation. There's an option for the company to earn in by paying for an initial $48,000, then $120,000 over the first year. Option to earn in 50%. Then 75% of the Alamo Gold Project. So this is a very exciting project. It's a package of mining claims, covers approximately 760 acres, situated in west and central Arizona, and it's been identified as highly prospective. Again, we talked about nuggets in Australia. Nuggets have been discovered near the surface of the Alamo Gold Project, and exploration is already underway. And we'll get some further news, no doubt, in the very near future on the progress of Alamo Gold. But again, that's the first of the projects. Then again, this week, it's been a very busy week for the company. As we said, Power Metals have staked a claim and signed an option agreement to earn into the Silver Peat project in British Columbia, Canada, which includes the Eureka Victoria silver mine, which was the first Crown-granted mineral property in British Columbia. So great deal of history in the region. It's a portfolio of mineral claims over a region which includes the Eureka Victoria silver mine, and again, this was announced this week. Power Metal have been working to increase the size of the operations across the American continent. So of course, this with the Canada Silver Project, they now have both silver and gold operations in the region. So again, early days announcement this week, but great progress by the company. There are also two further projects in the DRC, back in Africa, where Power Metal holds a 70% interest in the Kasinga copper cobalt project, and again, this is the geological anomalies run across many large copper and cobalt mines already operating in the area. So again, there's bit quiet on the news front on that project, but I'm sure, given the pace that Paul and his team get news out to the markets, we'll hear something from the Kasinga project very soon. Mm-hmm. And indeed, they have a subsidiary, Cobalt Blue Holdings, in Cameroon, which holds 4 cobalt nickel licenses in the region. So again, a huge number of projects under operation there. Progress with all of them. Added to which as well, just across this week, the company has also seen a further 34,000 come into the coffers from the exercise of warrants, and that's always a good thing where investors hold warrants, and it generates further cash for the company down the road as the share price rises. So again, if you're looking for a company where investors have or the board have stake in the game, and a company that's making rapid progress, I think probably Power Metal Resources, better than any other company or in the junior mining sector, epitomizes how to run a business and how to grow a company, and bring key members of the board in as major shareholders, and of course drive the business forward. Just on that note, Paul Johnson himself purchased 400,000 shares a few weeks ago as well. So Paul is very much a guy with skin in the game, and is investing in the projects himself going forward. So yeah, a very exciting remainder of the year in Prospect.
I'm sure there's so much going on with Power. It's incredible, really. And that silver project recently, it's unusual, isn't it, to have a purely sort of silver play? Because usually it's like a byproduct, isn't it, sometimes?
It is, yeah. It's often a byproduct, but I think if you look at the way, I mean, we've discussed on previous podcasts the rationale behind this resurgence in the junior mining sector, and it is because of the monetary policies employed by governments around the world to try and get the countries and the populations through the COVID crisis. They've had to effectively print money and devalue fiat currency in order to do that. So what it means is that commodities, tangible commodities such as gold and precious metals like silver, are increasing in value. And I mean, gold's punched through $2,000 an ounce, and silver has also performed very strongly too. So I think to bring in to buy into an option for a silver project. I should say as well that the project, whilst it's called the Eureka Silver Mine, it is actually a polymetallic project with a focus on silver, but there's also zinc and copper and other minerals potentially in the region too. So yeah, in fact, sampling in 2011 along the strike of the Victoria vein, I'm just reading from the most recent announcement, returned a grade of 8,089 grams per ton of silver, which is pretty impressive by any standards. So yeah.
Well, again, this morning on the news, the UK government debt is $2 trillion. It's more than 100% of GDP, which has happened before, I think. But it's. You've got to wonder, haven't you, sometimes if what the bubble is and when it's going to go.
Funny if I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about this. Just is it sustainable? And really, at the moment, governments don't seem to have any option. They seem to be going down this road and running. Do they have the gold reserves to back it up? That's obviously. That's something that we don't really know. We hear news from governments around the world about the amount of gold assets they've got stowed away, but frankly, I do wonder. So I guess where you have where countries are mineral rich in that regard, then it's great for junior miners that have the opportunity to rejuvenate dormant projects and dormant mines, because whereas 2 years ago it would be uneconomical to go back into a mine that had historically produced metals, precious metals, and so on. Today, of course, that's all changed, and yeah, I think we are set for an exciting couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. And do you have a favourite project with power, or are you equally interested in all of them?
Well, I think the Australia project is really exciting because there's so much anecdotal evidence from the region. As you said this morning on the BBC, that it's there's a lot of anecdotal news and publicity out there about the region and the history of the region, and indeed this goes back a few years ago. I know with Craig Brown and ECR Minerals, there was so many stories that we were finding just going back over the history of the region, and these are literally down to locals, popping out with a shovel, and spade, and one of those one of the sieves to sift through the stuff they dig out of the ground and just pull out gold nuggets. So it does appear that there is literally gold all over Victoria. So that's really exciting. But clearly, whilst we're in lockdown with COVID, there's that progress. So the focus would have to be on other regions. But again, the Alamo gold project, I think that looks very exciting too. But any one of them we could see a major development over the next couple of weeks, and I think that's the exciting thing. There's so much going on at Power Metal, and there's such a diverse spread of risk and opportunity there. I think it's even at current levels, having risen as far as it has, I think we're still very much scratching the surface.
Yeah, I would agree.
If you'll excuse the pun.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's done very well recently, but I think it's only the start of the story. I mean, it's a 10 million market cap company. With all that's going on, I think there's quite a way to go.
Oh, a long way to go. Way to go. Yeah. I think that's where the next 18 months, 2 years is where we're going to see a lot of the so-called junior mining explorers turn into small mid-cap producers, and that's the exciting thing, to see a company at this stage evolve into a mid-cap producer. That must be that'll be a fantastic achievement for the team.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so that's Power Metals. So what's next on the list for today, Alan?
Okay, so now I want to talk about renewables, the renewable energy sector, and right at the heart of that, there's a company called Eqtec PLC, EQTEC. The EPIC code is EQT. Currently got a market cap of 34 million. Shares are traded as high as 0.883p and as low as just under 0.1p on the year. Currently sitting at 0.5p, so roughly halfway between the highs and lows for the year. So Eqtec, it describes itself as an advanced gasification technology company, and whilst the difference with Eqtec and some other companies that are in the sector is that this isn't on the drawing board. This is technology that's actually already in use across a number of projects, and these include projects in Spain, Bulgaria, Italy, Croatia, and Poland. And the gasification technology is it's incorporated into power plants, and it creates heat and electricity by using what is called RDF, which is refuse derived fuel. The attraction is, of course, this brings together the waste owners, the builders, and the funders for renewable technology, and it means that municipal and industrial waste can be taken in, shredded, dehydrated, and then superheated to produce the energy to produce electricity and heat and so on. So Eqtec is divided itself into a number of sectors: the gasification technology sector, the kinetic model, and of course the monitoring platform, which is the control and management aspect of the business, which it provides to its clients. just to give you some context to the market that the company is operating in, the UK exports some 3 million tons of refuse-derived fuel (RDF) every year, due to the fact that there are so few facilities in the UK, and of course. The consequence of not being able to use or burn the fuel means that we have these huge landfill sites. So by taking this rubbish and dehydrating it, shredding it, dehydrating and burning it, and producing this heat and electricity, we are very much contributing to the cleanliness and the ecology of the planet. It's estimated the global renewable energy market is going to reach some 2 trillion by in 4 to 5 years' time, and also over 50% of power generation will be made up of renewables by 2035. So this is a huge market that Eqtec is developing into. As a company, Eqtec earns from equipment sales and service, operating and maintenance, and of course fees from technology licensing. And where it has projects that it's directly involved in, it earns from gate fees and of course a percentage of the electricity, the sale of the electricity and heat from the projects. It's also a licensed provider of finance, so it can provide finance to the project's owners, and Eqtec itself also will earn from dividends from these projects and any special vehicles that are set up to operate the projects. As a company itself, it's had a pretty successful year to date. The company has raised 10 million through primary bids. It was an oversubscribed funding that was in July last year. But also the senior management, the CEO is a guy called David Palumbo, who's been involved in investment banking, but also has a great interest in renewables and ecology. What I like about the company is that during the year to date, the management have elected to take shares in lieu of 40% of their cash remuneration entitlement. So they're very much got skin in the game and very much taken ownership of the company I like it when directors take shares in lieu of cash. I think it shows commitment to the company, and also indicates long-term commitment too. So year to date, strong operational and commercial progress in the UK and the US. The company's also said it's received 10 new commercial inquiries during the first half of the year, with the potential to provide up to 120 million in sales.
Okay.
So this is all very positive, and the even more impressive is that as a result of these inquiries and existing projects underway, the company's provided some strong projections in terms of pipeline sales. By estimated sales of some 7 million euros for 2020. Next year, the sales rise to 40 million, with a profit of 5.5 million, and the year after that, sales will be 65 million, with a profit of 11 million. So, given that full year 2019 there was revenues of 1.6 million euros and a loss of 3.6 million euros, which was reduced from the previous year, there's a pretty exciting transformation taking place once we get news of these commercial inquiries being put to bed and sales resulting from them. Then I think we're going to see some rapid exponential growth in the company, and of course consequential growth in the share price and value for shareholders. I think there is possibly one minor fly in the ointment, which doesn't really relate to much, but there's a legal battle going on with a company called Aries Clean Energy in the US. Aries Clean Energy have filed a patent infringement regarding the technology, and this has been answered by Eqtec. It considers the claim to be opportunistic, as Aries Clean Energy didn't invent the technology. They acquired the technology in a bankruptcy auction for $140,000 a few years ago. So Eqtec are robustly fighting the case, and indeed we expect to hear news on that. But that's in relation to the overall potential in terms of sales and growth going forward. It's a minor fly in the ointment, but indeed. I think if that in itself is keeping the share price in check for the time being, then to my mind it provides a good opportunity to buy into what I think will be a rapid growth situation in the coming years.
Okay, and what is their business model? So they are able to deploy their technology across, is it multiple projects? They're not going to sort of build one sort of main plant, for example. It's actually sort of, is it smaller things around the world? Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's already they're already earning revenues from projects in Spain, in Bulgaria, Italy, Croatia, and Poland. So there are plants being built, and the technology is being integrated at these plants around the world. So the actual technology itself is gasification technology. So where there's an opportunity to take refuse-derived fuel and burn it, it can be integrated into the progress. It generates additional electricity, additional heat, and of course it positively impacts on climate change because it's taking the waste from landfill, shredding, dehydrating, and then superheating it to produce the energy. And there's virtually no waste byproduct from that process.
Okay, so their clients then, for example, are they energy companies?
Yeah, the companies. So Syngas Italy, for example, is one such company. Sense Eco, which is a power company in Croatia. Then we've got Karlovo Biomass in Bulgaria, and Movialsa in Ciudad Real in Spain. These are all power and energy companies.
Right. Yeah.
So what they're doing, what Eqtec are providing, is a bolt-on solution for companies with existing power plants to add this technology and bring this technology in. It's not a new plant from scratch, but there are plans to build their own plants around the world going forward, and of course these will result in additional revenues such as gate fees and a percentage of the revenues from sale of electricity and heat from those plants.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I see. I noticed EDF is also one of their clients as well. So there's some quite big names there, and Siemens as well, actually.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. It's that's the thing. The technology is. Whilst it's been developed by Eqtec, it's out there, and it's being utilised by some of the leading names in power, as you rightly said, EDF and Siemens there, and there are sort of many others too. But the website itself is very good. There are some great case studies. I think it's. On a podcast like this, it's hard to articulate the technology, but there's some very good graphics and illustrations on the Eqtec website to take you through that process. But I think the most impressive thing from here is that it's out there. It's already changing the world. It's already positively impacting on climate change. But commercially, the sales pipeline that they have does imply impressive uplift in both revenues, moving the company into profit in 2021, and then 65 million in revenues with an 11 million profit in 2022. So of course then the company can start to, with the cash pile that it's generating, can start to reinvest and accelerate the progress.
Great. So would you describe Eqtec as more of like a tech play?
It's a technology / ecology play.
Ecology,
So it's
okay.
yeah. So it's very much it's very much in the renewable energy sector.
Yep.
But it's technology applied to renewables and advanced gasification technology.
Yes, which is relatively new. It's maybe quite an exciting time to be involved. It is new technology, and as you say, so difficult. We can't explain that over a podcast, but there's lots of information there on the website. But yeah, potentially a good time to get involved in this sort of early stage before it really is a mainstream thing.
Very much so. I think when you look at this technology, there are some really good graphics around, but there are also other companies operating in this sector too. But I think Eqtec is much further down the road in that it's already out there. It's being utilized. It's proven technology, and really the concept is very simple. You take some waste, you shred it, dehydrate it, and then you superheat it to produce the power. It's not a furnace. It's a technology that takes something and heats it to such an extent that it becomes a gas. You're producing a synthetic gas from that, which then drives a turbine to produce heat, electricity, and so on.
Good. Okay, great. Well, Alan, that's great. Thank you very much for your time again on the Research Talks podcasts, and we'll speak in a week's time.
Thanks, Mark. Speak in a week's time.
Thanks, Alan. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.